Hello, and welcome to the 2017 All Things Grammy Special. My name is Ri'Shawn, and I'm your host, and I'm so happy to be here tonight. And I just want to introduce you guys to my lovely panelists tonight. Here's fashionista and fashion columnist Miriam Loya.
Hello.
The music director for WMLU, Richie Campton.
How you doing?
And last but certainly not least, my co-host for our radio show, A Seat at the Table, the beautiful Miss Autumn Childress.
Nice to be here.
I'm so happy that you guys are here. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Doing pretty good.
Excited to be here.
So I think it's time for us to jump right into these topics, and let's start discussing these awards from tonight. So the big awards of the night, as everyone knows, are Record of the Year, Song of the Year, Best New Artist, and Album of the Year. Let's start off talking about Record of the Year and Song of the Year, because let's be honest, a lot of people barely even know what the difference between the two awards is anyway. So let's talk about it. So Adele took home she took home the award for Record of the Year and Song of the Year for Hello. Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about that?
I mean, the song was great, so I have no problem with that.
Yeah, honestly, I feel the same way. I think Hello was honestly a monumental song in this past year, and I think it was Adele's big comeback to music, so right. I think it was I think she deserved definitely Record and Song of the Year. Like, I think that's something that we couldn't take away from her, because she broke records with that song.
Yeah, when that song came out, there wasn't a single person that wasn't listening to it.
Honestly.
People were jamming
in the radio, singing my whole heart out.
Yeah.
As if I'm on another side, like singing my whole heart out.
I had no choice but to listen to it. So,
Richie, you're not going to say you won't sing that song, bro? You're really going to say you won't sing
it?
In
the shower, I know you were. I know you were.
That's about it. And all jokes aside, Hello was an amazing song. It was definitely the song of, I guess, the 2015-2016 Grammy season. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But in all due respect, I thought Formation was just even more groundbreaking. I mean, the premiere at the Super Bowl, the tour in the name of it, and then just everything it invoked and the conversations it started. Yeah. So although we'll get to what Beyonce deserved later in the show, I do think Formation was just as deserving, but Hello was such a smash, you can't deny it.
Honestly, I think that Formation was an amazing song, and I definitely think it was a huge hit. But I think that, honestly, to a lot of people, I think that Hello reached an audience that Formation couldn't really reach. I think that Formation was really an urban song, and I think it was really directed toward a specific crowd. Uh-huh. And I think that was a big reason and why, Hello took the cake and won that award, because I feel like everyone, no matter what race, creed, religion, you were singing Hello, And I think Formation, again, was an amazing song, but I don't know if it was the same in terms of popularity. But I do definitely think it was just as deserving in terms of content of the actual song.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I agree. The message of Formation was so good that, it definitely deserved the award. I mean, just as far as song messages in general.
Absolutely.
And that's one of those, I'm sorry to cut you off. Yeah, it's one of those awards where multiple people are deserving at the end of the day. There's a reason why you're nominated.
Right,
and,
absolutely.
You can say whoever is more deserving, but at the end of the day, typically that there's 1, 2, or 3 songs or artists or albums that definitely should win, and Hello was one of those songs, so I don't think too many people...
Another thing that a lot of people were upset about is that Rihanna didn't take home either one of these awards for Work. And honestly, that was a really big hit as well, honestly. I can almost guarantee it probably sold more than Formation in terms of, like, album sales and record sales. But I think that it was honestly a great song. But I was really shocked that didn't take home either one of these awards, because there was, again, just like Hello, there was not a single person who did not listen to Work at some point during this past year.
But Hello had a message. I mean, like, maybe it wasn't as strong of a message as Formation. You know what I mean? But it had, like people could relate to it. Whereas Work, it's just a song.
I honestly can say it's definitely. In my opinion, a lot of Rihanna songs don't really have a message.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, honestly, you can't take it away from her. She knows how to make a hit, though. Honestly, there's a lot of people like
she's talented.
So I think she can make a hit, and a lot of her songs don't really have a message. But I mean, do you guys think that makes it less deserving of this award?
My whole thing is, all right, the song, like we said, doesn't necessarily have a message, and then you include that with the fact that no one knows what she means when she says "Simiana." Well,
I didn't know what you were saying.
We have to know what you're saying.
Right,
It's catchy, but we have to know in order to have Record of the Year and Song of the Year.
Okay.
These awards, they celebrate the engineer, they celebrate the writers, they celebrate how the lyrics come out, and Work is fun, but it's not deserving of Song and Record of the Year.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, well, I wanted to jump into, let's talk about who won Best New Artist, which is another big award. Mm-hmm. My man, Chance the Rapper, took home the award for Best New Artist. What did you guys think about that? Did you think he deserved it?
Absolutely. The Coloring Book, absolutely. I think his ability to combine rap music with gospel I think that's groundbreaking, honestly.
Absolutely.
I
thought it was
love the
amazing,
coloring book.
honestly. And I think that for a lot of people, he did a really good job in sort of bringing that gospel element to the Grammys and not making it feel so much of like a preachy way.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That's a really hard thing to do.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But I think we need to take a quick break, so we'll be right back with some more topics from this year's Grammys. Welcome back. So every award show has its moments throughout the night that make us go WTF. And the 59th Annual Grammy Awards was no exception. So let's break down some of the hottest moments from the night. Autumn?
All right, so Adele and Beyonce were already making headlines before the Grammys even started. They were going head-to-head in 4 different categories, and Adele ended up winning all 4. But what made me go WTF was that when Adele stood up to receive the Album of the Year, she said she simply couldn't accept it because she thought Beyonce earned it. She said that the album was absolutely monumental and that it made her Black friends feel empowered.
But I can't possibly accept this award, and I'm very humbled and I'm very grateful and gracious, but my artist of my life is Beyonce, and this album for me, the Lemonade album, was just so monumental, Beyonce. It was so monumental. We fucking adore you. You are our light. And the way that you make me and my friends feel, the way you make my Black friends feel is empowering, and you make them stand up for themselves. And I love you. I always have, and I always will.
So what do you guys feel about this? Like, did Adele pull a reverse Kanye on herself? Like, what is going on?
I definitely think that that's basically what happened. I honestly think that she got up there and I don't think she thought she was going to win that award. And I think she was like, okay, well, I don't feel like I deserve this. And I think she wanted to give it to Beyonce because she honestly believed that she was just as deserving as she was for the award.
I definitely don't think it was like one of those things for attention. I think she sincerely meant it. I mean, you just look at her and see her emotion.
Absolutely.
She's like, she adores Beyonce.
I think so too. And I can honestly, she said before, like in previous interviews, that she loves Beyonce.
Yeah.
Like, I believe she said it when she did like the James Corden karaoke night, or karaoke in the car thing. I think she's honestly truly a Beyonce fan.
I want to take a little different of an approach. To be honest, that was pretty cringeworthy. Especially
You
when
really think so?
that was very cringeworthy. Just hearing her, understand it's an emotional time, and winning an album or winning album of the year over an album that's a lot better than yours, that's hard to deal with. I'm sorry.
Are we gonna skip past the shade of that winning album of the year?
There's a lot of shade, but
that was really shady.
In all honesty, let's be real. Start the dialogue from here. Adele knew she was going to win the award. What precedent has been set that makes you think that Lemonade was going to win that award?
Honestly, listen, this is one thing that I saw that really made me think about it. I think that one thing for me I'm always thinking like the politics of the Grammys and whatnot.
Right.
One thing I thought was the fact that Adele had literally just won that award and walked off stage.
Right.
And I also thought about the fact that she won that award, so I'm wondering if they're going to really call her back to bring another award, because if so, I would think they would like take a break or something in between. And then on top of that, I thought the fact that they had a country music artist like up there like introducing, like giving out that award, I thought that was also going to be a big thing because of the fact that Beyonce performed at the CMAs this past year. So I'm thinking politics in my mind. I'm like, oh yeah, she has to have this. And then in my mind, again, Lemonade was such an amazing album that I just felt like there was no way in the world that she was not gonna win, honestly. So,
and, I don't think anyone's alluded to it yet, but Frank Ocean, in his Tumblr post saying why he didn't submit his album to the Grammys, alluded to, artists of colors or any minority artists not receiving their just due. And just last year, Kendrick Lamar's similarly critically lauded album, To Pimp a Butterfly, lost to a pop album by one of the bigger pop stars in the world in 1989 by Taylor Swift. So the precedent set last year and previous years before that, Kanye West has never won Album of the Year, and debate his character all you want, but he makes amazing albums.
Absolutely.
Artists that some of the more critically lauded albums of our lifetimes have never even sniffed that award. So my thing is, okay, Adele, we understand you're emotional, we understand that's your idol, but it almost seemed like the whole when Macklemore won Best Rap Artist and he texted Kendrick like, I'm sorry, you should have won. You kind of knew because the Grammys is a whitewashed award show, if we're being real.
Yeah.
So that was my whole thing. It felt it felt real, but it felt a little fake at the same time.
I agree, and I get what you're saying, but honestly, I just think Adele as a person, she just seems really sincere to me. I really feel like when she does something and she has those type of moments, I think it's really who she is, honestly. Like when you see her on stage and whatnot, like her like calling out people and saying like, oh, okay, like I really think you deserve this award and so on and so forth. Like I think she would honestly only say that if she believed it, because I think with her character, that just seems like it makes sense to me, you know? And I think that Beyonce and her really had a moment, because Beyonce, as you could see, like was getting emotional in the clip. She was really starting to tear up too, like listening to Adele say that. And I think, honestly, I think Adele was thinking what we were all thinking, like, how is this possible that I won in comparison to Beyonce?
Absolutely. Right. And right before she received the award, I think she said that she wants Beyonce to be her mom and Jay-Z to be her dad, something like that. So, I mean, it's no doubt about how much she admires and adores Beyonce.
Well, speaking of mom and dad, we need to talk about some of the older people at the Grammys. So can we talk about A Tribe Called Quest and what they had going on?
Absolutely. So I was a little bit shocked that there was not a lot of talk about politics until A Tribe Called Quest started to make their performance. So in the performance, Busta Rhymes called Donald Trump Agent Orange. Like what? And then when they started performing, they said, "We represent you," and they brought up a lot of people of different genders, races, and religion. So I think that has kind of a lot of political views. So how do you guys feel about that in such a controversial time that they brought such political views to their performance?
Let's take a look at that clip really fast just so we can get an idea of what they said.
I want to thank President Agent Orange for your unsuccessful attempt at the Muslim ban. When we come together, we the people, we the people, we the people, we the people, we the people.
I honestly think that after watching that, I was so proud of them for going up there and literally making a stand for something that they felt like was something they needed to speak out about. I feel like I do not like when my artists decide to act like the political climate right now is not as it is. When they try to like avoid politics and controversial discussion because they don't want to be controversial, when I honestly feel like as an artist, your place is for you to stand up and take a side as a part of a message, because you show who you are through your art. So I feel like them being up there on that stage and talking like they were, I think was honestly one of my favorite moments of the night. What did you guys think about it?
I don't know. I feel like the comment Asian Orange is a little kind of
Agent
awkward.
Orange.
I thought you said
Agent Orange.
Agent Orange.
I don't think it's Asian.
What did you say? Okay. So never mind. I
Agent
take
Orange.
that back.
What do you think that's as bad as Asian
Orange?
Orange?
I was like, I feel like that's kind of mean.
He said Agent Orange, if we heard him correctly. Right. But I don't know. I think I was, like I said, I was really proud of them for that. But honestly, it's time for another quick break. We'll be back to talk about some of the performances from the night, and in some cases, the misses and the hits, and who did well and who did not do well. So you don't want to miss it. So every year, there are some performances that wow us and some that bore us to sleep. It's time to jump into the performances from the night. Richie?
Thanks, Ri'Shawn. Typically, the Grammys in years past have been about the awards and who are the big winners. But in recent years, for more television ratings, performances have really taken the lead in terms of the big moments for the Grammys. And I thought 3 performances in particular really captured the landscape of music right now, and honestly were the most gratifying to watch. One in particular, Chance the Rapper, we already discussed him for winning Best New Artist, and I think he chose the 3 songs that solidified his place in rap and music and kind of what he brings to the table each year. And How Great Is Our God, Blessings, and Music Is All We Got. I mean, those, it's simple, but it really conjured his message perfectly. And he brought in a choir, he brought in Kirk Franklin, he brought in background vocalists. Chance the Rapper really just set the stage off to me and really ran home what his message was. What did you think?
Right. I actually wanted to jump in there and talk about Chance the Rapper. He was actually nominated for 7 awards, and he took home 3 of the 7 awards. And I thought that was amazing for this being his first time actually, taking home a Grammy. He took home 3 of them, not just one, but 3. Right. And I thought that was a great thing, honestly. And he took home 3 out of the 7, and honestly, that's more than Beyonce took home. She only took home 2 Grammys tonight out of her 9 that she was nominated for. So I thought that was definitely a big deal. But honestly, I thought he did a great job with his performance. I thought it was fantastic, and I love that he incorporated Tamala Mann and Kirk Franklin into it, honestly.
The gospel. And I really just think that the fact that he's an independent artist, hasn't signed to a label yet,
Absolutely.
He's really, he feels like a manifestation of everything good in music, like freedom, independence. What we've been waiting for, right? You know, like Christian. I'm not saying you don't even have to be Christian to relate to his message, but he just has such a pure, authentic joy to him that I think it's pretty hard to root against Chance the Rapper.
And honestly, when he won his awards, pretty much every time when he went up there to take one, he said, "Glory to be to God," or something of that sort, to say thank you to God for, you know, allowing him to be able to be on that stage. So I thought that was definitely a big thing, and I really applauded him for that, honestly. So
and I know this is another performance that obviously everyone was talking about. She got snubbed, but Beyonce, I think, really had the biggest moment with her performance. I wanted to talk about that a little bit because it's raised some discussion on, you know, the Twitter sphere, Facebook, things of that nature. Obviously, Beyonce is a great vocalist, and, you know, she executed Love Drought and Sandcastles, two of the, what, you know, critics say were, you know, the more, I guess, slower songs on the album, and she really brought them to life. But in her performance, she incorporated a lot of Hindu and Western theology, and she honestly portrayed herself as a goddess-type figure. And how did you guys feel about it? It almost seems like idolatry in a sense, like people praising Beyonce. She already has a massive beehive, but was that a little over the top?
Well, I'll interject here.
A little over the top?
Who loves Beyonce, I'll interject here. I think that, honestly, I loved the performance, and I think she did great. And I liked that she got up there and she really sort of owned the stage as the pregnant woman that she was. I think that a lot of people sort of expected her to go up there and sort of like do less than what she's done in the past, and not to do an absolute most, which she does do as a performer, and it's her job. Honestly, I think a lot of people didn't expect that. So I think that I was proud of her for going out there on that stage and really, you know, owning her pregnancy and, you know, saying, like, I think she was really trying to, you know, share a message about pregnancy and how beautiful of a thing it was. Because you notice in the beginning she was talking about mothers and all that other stuff. But I want to ask the ladies, what did you guys think about it?
Well, the thing that shook me the most was when she leaned back in that chair.
Oh my
I think we all were on the same page.
That was crazy.
Oh my goodness. I was scared. I mean, it was a video on Twitter of like the babies jumping in her stomach. I was just nervous.
She was probably nervous
I was nervous.
I saw the gif of JC like,
yeah. But I mean, it's no doubt about it. The performance was out. It was beautiful. Her gown. I mean, everything about it was
one
really
of the night.
great.
Absolutely.
Can we agree? Best one of the night.
Oh yeah, for sure, hands down.
Oh yeah.
I think in terms of vocals and honestly giving us a performance and visuals,
The aesthetic of it was just crazy. I mean,
it was.
Beyonce somehow manages to raise the bar every single time.
But you know, I had a friend who I was arguing with because she told me that she thought both performances were really boring, and I said I can't listen. As you all know, I'm a huge Beyonce fan, so I was totally personally offended. Like I feel like she personally attacked me when she said that. Like I feel like
all you Beehive members, y'all just go way. I mean,
listen.
I feel like I might get attacked for saying that.
Honestly, right? And you should. You should be stung at this point. But I really felt like it was, for me, I felt like, I don't know what people expected her to do. I don't know if they expected her to get up there and dance like she did with Love on Top or something of that sort. But I thought, honestly, as a performer, I think she did really well. And honestly, I think if you were to compare her to somebody like Adele, like there was no, like it was basically the same thing. They stood up there and they sang, and Beyonce just added more visual to it. So if you didn't say Adele was boring, then I don't think you can say Beyonce was boring, honestly, because she gave us a little bit more than Adele did in that performance.
But she provided visuals with it, like it was artistic to watch.
And she really pulled you into it to make you feel like you were a part of the performance, to let you get the message of what she was trying to say, honestly. And I agree with that cheerleading though. That was, I was like, listen,
to add to that, we also have to praise my man Bruno Mars for following up Beyonce. No one else could have followed up Beyonce but Bruno Mars. So I'm happy he went right after Beyonce.
Thought he did amazing. I thought he did amazing.
Amazing job.
Vocally, honestly, he was amazing. Like I was,
and I didn't know he could play guitar.
Listen, and then for me, honestly, I was telling Autumn not too long ago. She actually is a Bruno Mars fan, or she's a fan of his last album.
His last album.
And she had been trying to convince me to listen to his album, and I actually when I listened to that song, it was like in my head. I've listened to it like 20 times since then. I love that performance. He did absolutely amazing, and I honestly think, like you said, there's nobody who could have followed up.
Paid tribute to Prince the right way, I would say.
And he did that too. His Prince tribute was also amazing. So I definitely think that was a great thing. But I definitely think his performance of his own original song was really what grabbed my attention. And I honestly, for me, as a person who used to be I used to be like a huge Bruno, not a huge fan, but I used to be a pretty big fan of Bruno Mars. And I felt like he really showed me the vocals that we've been missing. So But honestly, I think after now we need to go ahead and take another quick break. So that's all we have for performances. But when we come back, we're going to break down some of the fashion hits and misses from the night with our fashionista here, Miss Miriam. So we'll be right back. It's time for the moment that many of us have been waiting for tonight. Let's talk about who really showed up on the red carpet and who we wanted to send right back home. Taking us into the topic of our amazing fashion from the Grammys is our expert, Miss Miriam Loya.
So this year at the Grammys was kind of a year of a lot of simple looks or really, really bold looks. But for the best dress, for the most part, it's simple looks, beginning with Demi Lovato. She wore Julian McDonald. She had this very kind of sleek, simple look that really, really hugged her curves, made her look great. Her breasts look amazing. And her hair is just, you know, free-flowing, falling, very natural look.
Absolutely.
But, I mean, she looks incredible.
Yeah, absolutely. I think she really showed up and put herself on the map in terms of fashion tonight, honestly. I think that Demi normally, she normally looks pretty good, but there's never been anything that really jumped out. And I think that last night she really did a really good job. Honestly.
Which is saying something, because it's such a simple look, but on her, it turns into something just
incredible. She was
incredible.
giving us cleavage goals.
Oh, yes, for sure. And then we can talk about designer. I've never really looked at him as much of a fashion icon. Usually I expect that from like Future or from other people, but designer really brought it out. He's wearing Jimmy Choo shoes, and his suit is Armani. It's kind of like a purple suede look. And I really like this bare chest with 2 chains kind of thing. I think it's very bold, but it's very simple at the same time. I mean, the color pattern is nice. It has a really simple yet strong look to it. What do you guys think about it?
As a male, Richie, what did you think about it? Because I personally love the look. I mean, I probably wouldn't be as bold to go out there with my chest all out like that. Taco meat showing. But what did you think about it?
I thought it was clean. The Armani suit with the Jimmy Choo shoes. I like slender fitting clothes. So the fact that, you know, designer's roughly like 6'5". He's a really tall, tall guy. So, you know, that clothes fits him well. And, you know, he has a good figure for wearing clothes such as that. So I really like that. He pulled it off great. And in comparison to my favorite rapper, he's a lot better dresser than Chance the Rapper. Chance the Rapper makes great music, and then he does the clothes thing on the side.
Okay, yeah. Nice, he was killing the mailman look. Absolutely, he did amazing.
He delivers, so it's okay.
But lastly, for our best dress, we have Rihanna, who was wearing Armani, and I think that she looked amazing. Oh, wow. Now, Ri'Shawn and I were talking about this earlier. I love the top. I think it's simple, but what really makes it stand out is the ruffles on the skirt.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And the accessories, you know, they're bold, but they're not too, they don't take away from the full ensemble. And yeah, I mean, that chest tattoo.
I was going to say
it's
that.
hot.
Yeah, the shirt like fits perfectly with her tattoo. I really like that.
I'm assuming she got it tailored to fit in that way, because I think she likes to use her tattoo as an accessory. And I loved it. Honestly, I thought the look was amazing. Miriam, like she said, we discussed the fact that she had like pleats in her skirt, and I thought that was fantastic. I thought it honestly made the look, because I thought if it was just, you know, a plain black skirt of any other sort of material or texture, it probably would not have had the same effect.
It wouldn't have worked it well.
Amazing.
Yeah, and this is quickly becoming one of her signature looks, is the big kind of poof style for whether she's wearing like a pants kind of thing or whatever. You know how she has that like belt thing that kind of flows out into a big giant poof.
And I honestly think that she was literally one of the best dressed of the night, honestly. I think a lot of people named her their best dress of the night.
Down,
and I thought she did fantastic, so I don't know. What about you guys? But I thought it was amazing.
Personally, I'm not such a huge fan of the poof in the dress. That's just my taste. I prefer a slender fitting dress. I like the Beyonce's dress a lot. But Rihanna's a fashionista, and Rihanna's always pushing the envelope with her clothes.
Honestly, that's one thing I also was thinking, is that I loved her look and I thought she looked amazing, but I wish she would have pushed the envelope a little more. Because I really think that Rihanna is known for her fashion, honestly. Like, I think people know her as like a fashionista. So I wish she would have pushed the envelope, and maybe she would have been successful, maybe not. But I think that honestly, if we look at somebody like Katy Perry, then I think that, you know, maybe she took a risk, maybe it paid off, maybe it didn't, but I think we were all sort of in between about that.
That actually brings us to our next person, is Katy Perry. I wasn't sure where to put her. There's been a lot of talk about her. There's been so many people that named her best dress, so many people that named her worst dress. I actually, personally, I really like this look. Rose gold is very in right now. You know, I like the style of the dress, but the fit on her, it's kind of awkward. Like, you know, she kind of reminds me of the feather duster from Beauty and the Beast.
I just want to point out that Richie said, "Oh." I said, "Can you tell us what that "oh" was all about, Richie?" Like, what was that?
It was one of the first times I saw that dress in full. But it kind of reminded me of one of my favorite childhood movies, Xenon.
Xenon.
So I was like, oh, is that Xenon? Oh, no, that's Katy Perry. That was my whole thing.
Listen, I honestly, I felt like the look was, I thought it was a pretty good look for her. But in terms of like the color, I love the color, and I think the dress could have worked. But I think my biggest thing was the fit of it. I think that if it would have fit her a little bit better around her torso.
Maybe if it weren't so much longer, too.
Yeah, I think it would have been a little bit more flattering, honestly. I think that it was like, again, I really enjoyed the color. And
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't think she was giving us a look with the ostrich thing. But I think it would have been more acceptable, though, if the dress was tighter. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, I feel like the train would have worked better. And I think she was going for that, like, train type of look, but it wasn't as long as, you know, your typical train.
So are we, like, classifying her under worst looks of the night?
I would say so. The bottom half is not a good look for me.
Boom, Katy Perry's worst.
Okay, there it is. We have it.
All right, now, probably one of the more funner topics is some of the worst looks of the night. And although I love her as an artist and she's amazing with her recent album, A Seat at the Table, Solange threw me off in her Gucci. It really, really threw me off. The color is amazing, the slit looks great, but the ruffles, man, like, that throws me through a hoop. What do y'all think about that?
I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
I don't.
It brings out.
At this point, I'm thinking about kicking you off the table. Like,
you don't have a seat at our table.
You're not allowed to sit at our table. You're not allowed to sit.
One thing. It just, I don't know. I feel like Solange has always been the stepsister, the one that we don't really talk about. But, you know, this year has kind of been her coming out party. Yeah. And I feel like that dress really just exemplified a new Solange, or just a confidence.
See, but that was the problem for me. That was the problem for me. Like you said, Solange has always been looked at in a different light than Beyonce. And for me, Solange has been looked at as the more fashionable of the two. Honestly, she's, again, when I think of like the fashionistas of the entertainment world, I'm thinking Solange, Rihanna. Those are the people I'm thinking of. And I'm not looking at her, expecting her, you know, granted her last album was amazing and it did well, but I'm not expecting her to do, I'm expecting her to take more risk in terms of fashion. I'm expecting her to get it right a lot more often than I would expect Beyonce to get it right, honestly. And I thought that dress was terrible. I thought the look was terrible, and I thought she could have did so much better, honestly.
To me, it looks like she took like some tacky shower curtain from the 70s and wrapped it around herself. Like, and that, you know, I don't want to be mean when I say that, but I just feel like she's been such an exemplary artist this year that a better look would have been more suited to the vibe that she's been giving.
Honestly, I thought, okay, I like the idea of her going for the gold look, and I think that looked pretty.
The color's great.
Like, I think the color was one thing that did work, and I think it really worked well with her skin tone. But let's talk about somebody else who did not do well in gold.
Oh, God.
Mr. CeeLo
Green.
Let's talk about what he had going on with that whole gold ensemble thing he tried to.
He wore this metallic gold thing. All over Twitter, people were comparing him to Ferrero Rocher chocolates, 3PO, and a freaking golden snitch from Harry Potter. Like, it was everywhere.
I didn't even think of the golden snitch idea. I love Harry Potter. I'm a Harry Potter nerd, and I was like, wow, I didn't even think about that. His head looks just like one. Like, I feel like it's like a Rocher chocolate.
Yeah, perfect for Valentine's Day. No, he apparently this was part of his Gnarls Barkley alter ego, Gnarly Davidson. Right. But I looked everywhere, and I have no idea who designed this. Maybe because they're too embarrassed to say it.
Honestly, if I were them, I would be too embarrassed to say honestly that CeeLo was wearing it, because in terms of like his looks, I'm always like womp womp. Like, like stop it.
Is it a mask? Like what's on top of his head?
I don't know. It's a mask. It's like a gold mask. It's like a headpiece.
Yeah, I think it's like a helmet
combined with like gold glitter on his face. I think something like that.
Listen, it was just tragic to me. Tragic. Like
tragic outfits make for great memes. So I'm here for it. I'm here for it. I'm here for the entertainment after that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think that he will continue to be a meme if he continues to dress like that. But honestly, I don't know if he's even worth talking about at this point anymore, because I think we should be used to it at this point. Like,
that's true. He certainly got the attention that he wanted to get from it.
He did. But honestly, I think that's all we have for tonight. I want to thank all these amazing people here who helped us pull all this together. A special shout out to these amazing panelists here with me tonight. I love you guys, and I'm so happy that you guys were able to join me tonight. So fantastic work. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to smile, everyone.